Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. So I'm going to be commenting on the statement put out on social media by Vybz Kartel, who is currently in St. Vincent, and I'm going to read it. It's regarding the mindset of some Jamaicans. So it says, Jamaica have the most bad mind people in the world. Young, old, woman, man, all the dog them. Cool reminder. I know me making a hungry year. God just don't like ugly. Big up your real Jamaican them. We're hearing all the time that Jamaicans are bad mind, or some Jamaicans are bad mind. What do you think? Because most people have this opinion, and the people stating this opinion, are they themselves bad mind, or is it just a few Jamaicans that are bad mind, and then they use a brush and paint everybody else? How do you think it compares with other Caribbean islands, the general world populace as well? Most people are jealous, who tend to say that Jamaicans are more jealous, more what we call a red eye, than others, right? So let me know what you think. So I did some research just to see why, because they're saying, why would Jamaicans feel jealousy, envious, and ill will generally towards each other? Why don't we like to see other people succeed and strive? What triggers this jealousy in us, right? And why is it triggered so often? Even among family members. One start to achieve success and prosperity, and of course the other is not achieving that success. Then the jealousy factor may start to show up, right? Start to rear its ugly head. But we know that jealousy's been here for millions of years, right? If you go all the way back into history and dig deep, then you'll see it. If you go into the Bible, you'll see it. Bad mind is a term often used to describe someone who harbors negative thoughts or intentions because they're envious of someone else's achievements or happiness. Why do we have it so prevalent in the society? It says here economic challenges. So a lot of people are facing hardships. So of course, when you see someone being successful, you're thinking it should be you automatically, right? So Jamaica has a significant economic disparities, with many people struggling to make ends meet. When someone succeeds, it can sometimes breed jealousy among those who are struggling, leading to a crab in a barrel mentality, where individuals try to pull down others rather than uplift them. So we know what the crab in a barrel mentality is like. If you watch crabs moving around in a barrel, there's always some that want to be at the top and pulling the others down. But the second one is cultural influences. In some communities, there is a deep-rooted belief that success is a limited resource, meaning one person achieves something, it somehow diminishes the chances for the others. This can lead to envy and resentment. And I always remember this little saying, don't have to dim my light for yours to shine. Some people they always want to throw what we call dirty water on others in order for themselves to look good. And we all know when people start, saying negative things, they're trying to make themselves look good, right? Trying to bring you down in the process. So, historical context. Jamaica's history of colonization and slavery has left deep scars in the social fabric, including a legacy of mistrust and competition among people, because they had to divide us. They had to have one person carrying news to the planters, the masses, right? The overseers, the people who are working under the master of the plantation. And I love reading. I love history. So when I go back and I read all these books, my desk is filled with books. right? And this is something that has been going on for years and years. I was reading this book, I forgot the name of it, and they always have their little spies in the plantation that carry the news, their own brother, sister. You could have people living on the plantation, same people, Jamaican people living on the plantation. I don't believe they call themselves Jamaican at that point. Same Africans living on a plantation, and they would have, if anything is done or any plans are going on, you have some people creeping off to expose those plans, right, to the owners of the plantation or people who are working under him. So they had to be very careful. Have people testifying, because I've read a court cases among enslaved people, and they would have the masters would pick out people to testify against their own, not to unpack. And we just know that we are pitted against each other, and plus, in order to survive, to be honest, look at the brutality of slavery. Had to devise ways of surviving on the plantation. You can only survive a few years under the brutal, harsh treatment, especially in Jamaica. And out of all the Caribbean countries, Equiano, told us that of all the places that he's been to, Jamaica had the most cruel plantations. So imagine trying to live under that, right? So they had to tell on each other, they had to carry news, the house slave against the field slaves and all of that. I'm trying to survive here type thing. If I put you under the bus, I can't help it. Slavery has a big part to play, and we generally mistrust each other because people would whisper things and people would say, they want to do their thing in silence. They can't tell this person and all of that. And then, of course, the thing about obia, people think people are going to hurt them, or if you tell people your plans, it won't work. Jam something into that plan, right? And they generally don't speak of their plans. Jamaicans in general, they mistrust each other. That trust is broken, and that is coming from slavery. Because when I read books, when they're in their villages in Africa, they tend to band together. They do everything together. They know that if if they band together, they go out, they are more successful to get, to hunt animals. They're more successful if they band together to plant. One person is doing this, one person is doing the seed, one person is doing the digging, and it makes the work easier. They can do acres if they band together. Whereas if you're by yourself, you can't do it. They like to live in groups because it's easier for them as a community. They live better in a community, and they prayed together. Yes, they prayed together. Everything that a community normally do. The community tend to have a bit stronger attachment than as opposed to the Jamaicans that had to go through enslavement and all of that. A lot of mistrust. You hear "kiba your mouth." Ear and deaf, see and blind. Those are the things that they had to do to their children, protect themselves on the plantation. All of these little sayings that they say to protect themselves and their loved ones. So this type of behavior trickles down to, of course, the modern generation. And it still influences attitudes and behaviors, unfortunately, today. So lack of opportunities as well. So limited opportunities. Advancement, education, economic growth can lead to frustration and resentment when others succeed, especially if it seems like success is unattainable for the majority. We hear about red eye, and that is an African term. There's infighting of them on the plantation to fight against each other, and they don't band together. They like them when they are fighting with each other, because when you come together, then you are a force. It's important, though, to note that not all Jamaicans share this mindset. There are Jamaicans who are very helpful and willing to push you to reach to their level or higher. Share information, and Jamaicans, a lot of people can tell you when you go out and you need help, there's always someone there to help you. Always that one person, no matter how bad it is. There are many who celebrate and support each other's success, recognizing that collective progress is beneficial for everyone. I win, you win, that type of thing. Why can't we do it together? You see so many groups in North America banding together and opening businesses because they say it's easier if they do it with a group, right? And that way they're able to buy up all these companies in a certain community and they strive together. Someone a few years ago, and they said when any newcomer come into the country, the first thing that they do at the church where they are, these are not Jamaicans, these are non-Jamaicans, they would put money together and make sure that person gets furniture and even a small used car, sends them on their way. They won't be struggling. This is just a little story about the bad mind culture, the jealousy, people not wanting others to succeed, even their own family, their own blood. Please join me on the next video. I will be sharing a little story from the book written by Lorna Goodison, the sister of Miss Barbara Gluten, and it is about her family memoirs, mainly based on her mother's side. And in the book, there is a little story about her Aunt Fanny's husband. It is about the bad mind and the jealousy behaviors of some of our people, and how they prevent even their own family from surviving and thriving just by not sharing information within their own family. So I don't want this video to be too long, so join me on the next video to hear about that story all the way back in Jamaica. And she begged him to disclose